Good evening to everyone that is here with us live in this space, everyone who is tuning in virtually to the space between. This is an interactive exhibit and a documentary film by Dr. Fahamu Pecou, and I'm Carlton Mackey, the creator of Black Men Smile, and it's been a pleasure to be in this space. It's been a pleasure to take up space. It's been an honor to connect to the exhibit and the idea and the vision behind the exhibit. And it's an honor to lead a conversation as an extension of the work that I do as the creator of Black Men Smile, that is an invitation for us to explore the parts of us that we might not often do, for us to be willing to exhibit the courage that it takes to be vulnerable, and to also be willing to discover what taking that journey can do for us. I would like to, I'm certainly gonna thank each panelist. I'd love to introduce you all in a way that I've been thinking of as the appropriate way to kick the evening off. But I also want to start by acknowledging and thanking the person who created this exhibit, who made this space, and who made it possible for us to be here, and that's Dr. Pecou. If you all could give him a round of applause. So, my brother, I want you to stay a little bit longer than just the time it takes for me to hug your neck. So tonight's conversation, if you could take a seat, it won't take long at all. But I know you're mad. I know you don't want to do this. But for me, I feel like it's not the, but it's a appropriate way. It's an appropriate way to kick off today's conversation. And it is to look at you and to say that I see you, I am you, and I love you. And you know, you taught me that through the process of going through this exhibit, but that means a little bit more to me and for us than just a moniker or a phrase or something to say. A lot of people don't know, but Fahamu and I share a birthday. We have the exact same birthday, and I know, because you are in a lot of ways like me, I know that you don't want to be sitting in this chair. I know that as much of a persona that you have that is public and is high profiled and is out facing, because I do understand in a lot of ways we have similar personality traits, that's only a aspect of who you are. You would much rather be in that corner, and you would much rather not have the attention that I'm placing on you. But I want to do it because it's us modeling before we ask them to do anything about the space that we want to create and the environment that we want tonight to be. And I want to say thank you. I want to say, I want to look at you and say some things that I haven't before. And they are that you are our Basquiat. I see you as an embodiment of a certain kind of Black excellence that forces me to want to be better. I see the work that you do and the contributions that you make as so vital and so important to the narrative and the language that we are trying to create as Black men. I see and understand your work as much as it is an expression of facts, of things that you are declaring. I see over and over a constant struggle to make sense of things that you don't understand. As far as me and my own insecurities, you know, I have, it's like allergies. You can be around certain things and certain people, And it's like a person with allergies being around pollen. They start feeling their allergies flare up. There's certain people who I'm around that make my insecurities flare up. As talented, as amazing, as powerful of a figure as you are, that is not the way that you exist. In my case of insecurities, don't flare up when I'm around you. And I think that as though I started by saying you're our Basquiat, I think that everyone in the room, like it's like, as powerful as you are and as much as you've accomplished, you somehow are able to feel like a regular dude, someone who doesn't make it your point to make yourself so distinct and untouchable from everyone else. But you are a distinguished brother. You are in a lot of ways, man. You're one of our shining princes, bro. Like, I appreciate and value who you are. When I look at TV and I see you on, some of your work on the set of a show, it's like, I'm like, I know that nigga. It's like, that's my homie. And at the same time, I feel like all I want is for you to be happy and to succeed and to be able to pursue your dreams it's almost like I want to protect you because I want you to do better than anybody. Like, I don't want any of the things in the world that would stand in the way of your success. And I want you to know that. And I don't think I've ever said these things in that way. But it's important for me to say it to you now and to you in this space in front of everyone, because you invited me by making this exhibit and by inviting me to take up the space that we're taking to do something that I haven't done and to put you in an uncomfortable position to receive it and to be the first person to model what it's like for us to do what I hope is a lot more of this as the evening progresses. So I appreciate you, Brent.
Thank you, Brent.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Fahamu Pecou. Tonight is designed and built to be an intimate conversation. I have a sense of how I want it to flow. I have a sense of my role and how I want it to move, but I'm wide open to each of the things that you all have to say and to how the spirit is gonna move. The first thing that I wanna do, and I don't wanna talk too much, but I do want to introduce each of the panelists who, each of the conversations, each of the human beings, each of the brothers who are on the stage. And I like to say that in inviting Black Men Smile to have this conversation, I felt it was important not to invite people who represented Black Men Smile from a number of different perspectives. And you all are Black Men Smile. You all are on this stage because in varying ways, from where each of you sit and from where each of you stand and exist, you all offer something extremely vital and valuable to the ecosystem of what Black Men Smile is. I want to introduce the brother that's to my right first, and I'll go down. His name is Brantley Simmons. I want to introduce Brantley by telling a 30-second story, and it happened today. Brantley is two stories. Brantley, very early on, we met each other, and he basically looked at me and was like, I don't even think you asked. I think you were like, you're gonna be my mentor, and walked off, and I was like, all right, I guess that's gonna happen. And another story I wanna tell about you that is an expression of who you are. It happened today. So we had a conversation, a breakfast, that Brantley organized for his mentorship. It's called King. It's a mentorship program. It's King's mentorship program, and it falls under the umbrella of Black Men Smile. One of the things we do is we offer a mentor program, and it's run by this brother. And today we had a conversation and basically a open house. We invited people to come and to learn about the program. And one family showed up. One mother and one son. Brantley and his wife and his family and his dad packed a skillet. They had omelets, grits, pancakes, juice. One family, one mother and one son showed up. And Brantley presented every slide. He gave his full presentation. He put his computer on a desk in front of the family and walked them through why this work was important to him and why this mother and this son deserve everything that they were striving for, and how he wanted to be a part of them obtaining it through the services that he provides and the ways that he believes in that young man. And I want to say, bro, that in that story, it says so much about who you are, and it's how I want people, it's the first impression that I want people to have of you, and this is Brantley Simmons. Give him a round of applause. Brother Josh, every time me and Josh have a conversation, at the end of it, at least 3 times I've asked this brother, man, is your daddy a preacher? I ask him this every time, because in you is a spirit. In you is an expression of a kind of you're a spirit-led human being who it shows and reflects in all the things that you do. Josh is the creator of a show, an experience called the Black Bro Art Show that I'm proud to be able to partner with Josh on executing. I appreciate the work that you do in the world. I appreciate the courage that you exhibit and your willingness to do it. Josh created the Black Boy Art Show. He's the creator of the Black Girl Art Show. He runs a design company called Love Arts. He's the creator of Music Makes Me Happy. He is a person who believes in creating spaces and experiences for people to see themselves. He believes in celebrating other people and giving them a platform for them to shine and for them to be celebrated. And I celebrate you for doing that. Y'all give it up for Josh Dingle. Chris Classic. His mama didn't name him, his last name is not Classic. But I just figured out what his real last name was about 2 weeks ago. I had a conversation with Jeff Johnson yesterday, and Jeff and I, in talking about Chris, we were on a Zoom and we were talking, and we were like, yo, when we first met Chris, we thought Chris was trying to run game on us, because here's this dude who has, by a lot of measures, been successful in a lot of different fields and a lot of different endeavors. But he comes across as like just a person who wants to learn, a person who wants to, he's in this weird way, like, presents himself as not wanting to force his opinion or his thoughts or even his talent or his gifts on people, but is almost open and willing to learn from anyone. Like that's how you position yourself. And for someone like you in your position with the things that you have to show for, it just doesn't, me and Jeff were like, it's weird. We were like, yo, what is he really trying to do? Like, what is he, like, and over time, it's just consistently been like that. I appreciate you for allowing the things that I say and the input that I have and the value that I bring. I feel like I have a lot to offer. You make me feel like I have a lot to offer, bro. Like, you welcome my ideas, and that's something I can absolutely say about Josh. And I appreciate you for what you offer, and I appreciate you for how you make me feel as a friend. You make me feel valuable. I always feel seen and appreciated, and I appreciate you so much for that. You could tell us about your fragrance. You could tell us about all these other things, but what's most important to me is who you are and how you present yourself in the world and how you open up other people to feel like they have something to say and they are also valuable. So this is Mr. Chris Classic. He's also the only dude, look at the flyer, he's the only one, I don't know what, he is Mr. Chris Classic. The rest of us is just like Brantley Simmons, Carlton Mackey. He gets Mr. in front of his name. It's the new doctor. Mr. is the new doctor. CJ, a critical component of Black Men Smile is the merch that we sell. It's the products that we offer. It's the way that we give visible expression to our mission through our gear, and our gear funds and fuels us to do all of the things that we do in the community, to be perfectly honest. And CJ, man, your support means so much to me, bro. Anything I put up for sale, about 15 minutes after it goes up, CJ's bought it, and I'm looking at my Shopify, and I'm like, it says CJ all the time, and I'm like, CJ has been a radical supporter of this platform, not just through his purchasing, but the way that he shares the work that we do, the way that he embodies what we do as a platform. He's created so many different things. And he shared a hoodie with his father, who's a DJ, and his dad rocks his Black Men Smile hoodie whenever he does sets. He created an entire, every week, he does something on Instagram where he's an actor, and he did a number of drops where he just really celebrated and talked about Black Men Smile. And I only met this brother 2 times in my life, 2 times. And you're on stage because as a way of expressing to the people in the audience, to the people that are looking at the stream, that there's a way to build real connections and have meaningful interactions with people in a virtual space. And it's people who rock with you and who support the work that you do, the fellow entrepreneurs, other people in the room who have initiatives, who you may not ever even get a chance to come in contact with, but it's people who really ride with you and rock with you, and I appreciate you, bro. I appreciate your heart, and I want for people to be able to see and get a glimpse of who you are in real time, and for me to get a deeper glimpse of who you are in real time, as I have, and so much more so in a virtual space. Y'all give it up for CJ. So I want to turn to each of you all. Part of why I took up as much time as I did doing what I did is because I feel vulnerable doing it. And that's what this space is about. The other reason is because I wanted to publicly model giving expression of affirmation to people in their face as Black men, because I think that's what Fahamu created this space for. And I want you all to feel comforted by or uncomfortable by me doing so that we can talk about that. What is it? Why do you feel uncomfortable if you feel uncomfortable? Why is it odd or awkward? And we can talk about that also. To kick things off, and my first prompt to each of you is I'd like for you to pass the microphone, and I'd like for you to finish the sentence. It is important for you to know that. And the setup for that is, for you to be in this space, you came with ideas of what tonight would be. You came with your own insecurities, your own passions, your own securities, your own hopes, your own visions. And for you to be here and be fully present in this space, I'd like for you to let us know what is important for the world to know so that you can take up the space that you need to take up. And an example could be you, Brantley. I'm just going to give one example because I'm sitting here in front of your father. You could say, listen, for me to be in this space, to be fully present, for you all to really understand me tonight, it is important for you to know that my dad is on the front row. And though I'm going to be open, I'm thinking about him being here, and I might be filtering what I say a little bit, but it's important for you to know that I'm going to push through that. Or it's important for you to know that King's Mentorship is my platform and I want to blah, blah, blah. But it is important for you to know that, and I'd like for each of you to finish the sentence.
I have the mic, so I'll start out. First of all, can we give a round of applause for Carlton Mackey first? Thank you so much. Thank you, brother. On behalf of all of us, we thank you for all of the kind words. I don't know what I'm about to say, but I have the mic, so I got to figure it out, right? So, again, Josh Dingle, and also thank you for Dr. Fahamu for this powerful exhibit tonight. So it is important for you to know that I received everything you said, but I was a little bit uncomfortable, for sure, because I guess a lot of my time is like in the work that I do, and like there's not a whole lot of affirmation that comes with what I do because I'm so focused on what I do. So I grew up in foster care, so I didn't know my father. My mom, she got drugged before she had me, and someone sexually molested her, and came Joshua Dingle. And so I don't have a relationship with my father, and so masculine affirmation feels weird to me because I never really had that. And so to hear Carlton say all those things, like I hear like an unseen father saying that to me, and I'm like, man, this feels awesome, but it also feels foreign, and it feels weird, but I also accept it too. And so thank you for that. So yeah, I want you to know that I'm here, and I accept everything you affirmed for me today, and I appreciate it. So, yeah.
Echoing Joshua's sentiments, thank you, Carlton. I think it's important for you to know about me. I was raised in a very religious environment. Both of my parents were Jehovah's Witnesses. My mom and my stepdad, who I lived with. And I felt that although I received a tremendous amount of benefit from studying and, being intelligent based on reading and, having certain speaking engagements that I had to prepare for even as a child, I missed a lot of being a kid. And so for me, I look at where I am now at, turning 42 next month, and I don't feel even half that age. So I appreciate the opportunities for us to get together and express ourselves this way, because I realized that there's a certain separation in our community between people who are 22 and 42 and 62. People who are 42 and 62 are a little closer. And I guess that's pre-technology, right? But there's also a set of values that we have. There's a certain level of yes sirness that we do that just doesn't exist aging down. These conversations and even artistic installations and expressions are extremely important for people like me, who were raised like me. In, you know, sometimes it's hard for us to admit that something associated with God or religion is suppressive to certain individuals who are just as blessed and just as touched by God, but their purpose on earth is to be expressive. Their purpose on earth is to share the talent that the same God gave them, not to necessarily lead in worship at church or to become missionaries, right? So I say that to say there's always that lens of, is this okay? Is this good? Am I allowed to do this? That I still have to this day. And I think a lot of people do. So as we're talking and as I'm sharing, it comes from a place of, you know, the person who is happy to be in a safe space to talk because mom and dad might hear, right? Or the church may hear. So that's how I approach everything that I do creatively, because I want it to free people. And so I'm extremely thankful for the space, and I want you guys to know that.
I have a lot of thoughts going through my head right now. I think it's important for everyone to know that, for one, for some reason I'm nervous. Two, as an artist, not even just as an artist, as a person, I've become very used to wearing masks, very used to hiding behind characters, behind personas. So vulnerability isn't always the easiest thing. I know that there is a very vulnerable side of me. And I also want everyone to know that there's a beautiful Black woman in this room who has helped bring that side of me out. And I want to thank her for that. Yeah. So yes, I'm nervous. There have been things throughout my life, even upbringing, being raised by a single mother who had to play father. Just this idea of being a man, being a Black man, how everyone will perceive you, how you need to come off to other people, has built up some walls that I'm actively working to break down.
Like Carlton said, this is difficult because my father's right here, like, but I think it's important for you all to know that oftentimes, and you know, I enjoyed listening to everyone's testimony because that's really what it was. But when I think about my upbringing, you know, it was somewhat like the Huxtables. You know, my parents, you know, college, grandparents. But with all that being said, I still have difficulties with confidence and acceptance, to the point that even as an educator, and it's very difficult being an educator when you are always second guessing yourself. Like, am I teaching them? Are they getting it? Is this even what they need to know? And in the midst of that, you know, you're still just continuously second guessing yourself in your head, to the point that you hear what other people say about you or about your gifts, and then you like, I ain't no good teacher. Or you just second guessing yourself, like, I ain't no good teacher. Or even down to like, I ain't a good father. Because you find yourself like making mistakes, and And as humans, we focus on the mistakes. Like we know about the positivity, but it's like, dang, I really dropped the ball just then. And you see so many people are watching you as you drop the ball, and you really try to fake it like you didn't drop the ball. But I think it's important for you all to know that even though I had a superb, I had everything in my life, I'm still struggling with confidence and acceptance.
And I value and appreciate each of you for accepting that invitation to go places that, as intimately as I know each of you, I learned things with the world just now, and what you've already embodied. The conversation was over just at my first prompt. It's important for you to know this environment is already a transformative one. What they've invited you all to do by the courage that they exhibited, I hope that it's contagious. I hope that in the time that you're here, Rye, that you open up yourself to the possibility of who you are in ways that you might not have before you walked in. I hope, Jay, that you are more radically accepting of the gifts that you have to offer the world, that you believe that you are enough, not just in the ways that you already have and that you invite other people into that journey, but that you believe it so much so that that it is expressed even more in the things that you do the things that you haven't. You've exhibited so much courage in so many things that you've already done, but that as a result of what's been modeled up here, that you do the thing that even scares the hell out of you that you've been putting off. So thank you all. When I created Black Men Smile, one of the first, it was kind of just an experimental test in trying to figure out what it was that I created. I went around, and actually, I don't think it was I didn't ask any of you this question, but I posed to 20 men in my life the question I'm about to ask you all. And 17 of 20 of them responded. Their answer was, damn, nobody's ever asked me that. It's the most simple question in the world. It's the backbone of the work we do at Black Men Smile. And it is what daring to allow yourself to think about the answer fuels the work that we do. And I'd like for each of you to answer a very simple question. It's complex in what is embedded in it, but it's a very simple question, and it is, what makes you smile?
What makes me smile is when I see my children learning. I have 2 children, and I love it when I see them learn, and I love it as I see them getting smarter, and just seeing them grow up. From my own children to, I consider my students my children too. So that student who was labeled special education, and they're really special. They really are special education, and they understand that from me being special, that doesn't mean that I'm a bad person. I mean, because special really means good. So when the student is able to understand, and when my children, especially down to my son, give you all the story. This morning, my son was having a moment, and anytime my son has a moment, it's like I'm trapped right there in the space between, because I'm feeling what my father showed me, and then on top of that, I can see what his father showed him, and then it all comes to that moment. What am I going to show my son? So he was having a moment, and instead of oftentimes as adults, we tell children to just get over it. We tell people to get over it and just, put your big boy pants on or whatever and just push through it. But in saying that, you're basically saying that what you're feeling right now is not important. I don't care about what you feel. Let's get through this. So actually having the opportunity to submit myself, like getting down to his level, like actually getting down to his level on my knees. So I would have to look up at him and just letting him know that it's okay and I'm right here in this space with you, even as you're frustrated. And I just want to give you the biggest hug right now. So anytime my children, or I just see children getting it and learning, that's what makes me smile.
That's good, man. How old is your son?
6.
Yeah, my son's 7, so I'm completely right there with you. So I think what makes me smile, so this right here makes me smile. So I am a advocate for human connection, right? So conversation. So like this whole pandemic, with everything being virtual, like that's cool, like that's cute, right? Okay, cool. We can get on Instagram Live, we can do little live sessions, but there is nothing like being here with you, looking you directly in the eye and being able to connect and touch you, right? And so I think that's what makes me smile, right? So I y'all know a little bit about my story. I grew up in multiple foster homes, so connection was something I was always trying to grab, right? So the moment I was in one foster home, I was grabbing connection, and it was like, nope, it's time to move to the next foster home, right? I was grabbing connection. It's like, no, it's time to move to the next. And then I was finally adopted at 8. And those who I was adopted by, I consider my mother and father. So I finally had this sense of connection, but there's still something in me that is like still like longing for connection, right? And so like a lot of what I do, a lot of the like events that I do bring people together. And I don't know. I think like I'm up here right now, but I'm still working through my shit, right? Like I'm still figuring it out. Like I think a lot of what I do is me still trying to find that connection that I never had. So a lot of what I do, a lot of my events bring people together. And that's probably like the 3-year-old in me that wants to bring my family together. So I create very family-like environments like this. That's why I'm very comfortable right now. Right, because this is what I consider family, and so whenever I'm able to connect and talk and like chop it up with like brothers, like that's in addition to obviously when my son learns new things, that makes me smile. But this makes me smile, man. So yeah.
For me, creating things makes me smile, whether it's something that works or not, right? Creating things, especially, as I mentioned, my upbringing, creating things seems like rebellion. Creating things seems like I'm not supposed to do this and I'm doing it anyway. And you're gonna like it too, don't you? Right? And so that, for me, anything that I create, whether it is a fragrance, struggling with making a new one, designing a t-shirt, working with other their ideas and their goals. I think that's the personal thing that makes me smile for myself. And then there's my family. Having a wife who has my back, having kids who are adorable and funny, and they have their own characteristics and their own nuances that, all you can do is kind of like laugh at them, right? Because they're learning themselves by looking at you. So I think between being creative on a personal level and then when to any side of myself, it's my children and my family that makes me smile.
I want to say unconditional love makes me smile. And that's not just love directed towards my way. Seeing love happen to other people. I said I was raised by a single mother. My dad is in my life now. We have a relationship we're working on, but his kids that he had after all of his stuff, he loves them hard. And it's such a beautiful thing to see, and you can get caught up in, I wish I had that love too, but man, thank God that they have that. Being loved by someone, unconditional love from God, through acting when I find a role that I connect to and a character that I can love, a script that I can love. Unconditional love makes me smile the most.
What has made it difficult for you to experience the things? I'll frame this up. What has stood in the way of your smile, of you giving expression to the joy and to the things that you all talked about? What has made it difficult to smile?
That's easy. For me, self-doubt, you know, and always having the idea that I'm not supposed to be doing this. I'm not supposed to be doing something that makes me happy. I think self-doubt plays a big role into delaying certain things for me. You know, we've all heard at least of the power of visualizing things. But if you don't see yourself as allowed to do them, it becomes hard for you to even imagine yourself living in that home, that beautiful house on the hill, you know, that has all the land and the cool modern design. You almost think you're not worthy to have that, or you're not supposed to. So I think getting over self-doubt, you know, and we all have our own personal, you know, insecurities and nuances. You know, for some it's height, for some it's weight or lack of, right? So those are little things like, you know, on a daily, you know, basis, but and rather circumstantial. But I think for me the biggest thing is self-doubt, that overall feeling like I'm not supposed to enjoy certain things that I constantly struggle with.
Keep the mic for a second, Chris. I wanna bring the room into the tension that they may have missed, but they may have caught, and I want to bring you to the awareness of the tension that you created through conflicting comments. Your first statement, when I asked you what makes you smile, you said creating things, and you talked about you said that creating things is like rebellion. It's like you're not supposed to do this, but I'm gonna do it anyway, and you're gonna like it. Then I asked you what stood in the way of your smile. You said self-doubt. And it is when you're doing things that you don't think, it's this almost this imposition or this view of someone looking at you and saying, you're not supposed to be doing that. I immediately felt the tension between the first thing, because you said what gives you joy is doing the thing that you're not supposed to do. What makes it difficult for you to smile is feeling like you're doing the thing that you're not supposed to do. What gives you joy is saying, I'm rebelling against the thing that I'm not supposed to do. What makes me not smile is feeling like I'm not supposed to do the thing, that when I do the thing, it makes me smile, because you took away and you're gonna like it. The rebellion in you went away. Mm-hmm. So it is, you're holding a conflict, you're holding in tension both. The key to the thing that gives you joy is and if you unlock it, you said that's what it is. Yeah. And then you say, it's the self-doubt to unlock it, because the people that are watching me, that the joy is saying, fuck you to those people and doing it anyway. Right. Talk to me about that tension. Talk to me, and if you could, if anyone could after he opens up possibilities of what that tension may be, I'd like for anyone who feels a similar tension to maybe reflect to the room and to Chris some things that you've done to help unlock a similar tension inside of you.
I think that may be why I become so attached to what I create, because most people don't get to see what I battled with to have a final product. I think an upside to the struggle, that when I do create something, I care so much about what people think of it, because I want it to be accepted, because I fought really hard to let it out. It's why when I make a mistake on a customer's order, I overcompensate. If I sent a wrong t-shirt, I refund you and I send you another 2, you know? So I think I've projected my parents into the public, and it becomes the desire to impress, the desire to make people happy, and at the same time still feel like there's the inner, you know, there's the view that I'm not supposed to do it. So when I fight it and I do it anyway, you better like it, you know? But when I have ideas, when I think about material things, when I think about, you know, a certain lifestyle, those are the things that, you know, kind of, I hear those saying you're not supposed to have it.
Okay. All right, so maybe this connects with what you're saying, but, you know, even as a teacher, you know, teachers are in society, this is your lifestyle. That's it. But, you know, in my mind, like Chris saying, I'm like, shit, I want to be that teacher that's balling. I want to be that I want to redefine like what people think is a teacher, like a mediocre job, so forth and so on. And in me doing that, like, yeah, I done created this 5-lesson plan, like, ooh, culturally relevant. Yeah. But then when it goes to the execution, and then I start thinking, like, I'm doing it, and then it's like this little whisper in the back of your head, you just a teacher. Why you going so hard? You not like, you don't have no big following. Who cares how hard you teaching this child, and who cares how hard they getting it? So in me, like I was saying, I love when I see my children, students learning, but then that self-doubt comes when like I'm putting all that effort out there, and it's like, you just a teacher. You ain't no ball. Like, I try to tell people I look at my profession like LeBron looks at his, but then it just continues to creep in my mind. You just a teacher, and teachers don't get no respect.
I wanna affirm something in you by reminding you of the story that I shared in the beginning. I'm listening to what each of you have to say, as if my life depended on it. And you know, you talked about the following, you talked about the impact, you talked about the numbers in a real concrete way. You talked about numbers. And bro, today, 4 hours ago, 5 hours ago, nobody showed up. And you stood up with integrity, and you taught. You went through every slide, bro. And to the one dude, the one kid and the one parent who were there, you were able to push through those insecurities and those things that may be going on in the back of your head, and that may have been going on when you were standing on stage and presenting. And you presented to that one. And so I want to honor what I may not have even known you had to fight through. That's what integrity is, and that's what courage is. And I want y'all to join me in just affirming Brantley for being willing to push through that thing and those things that are in his head that say, that seek the approval of the numbers, and when there was only one, you know, for him to stand and to teach and to pour into that single student. Y'all give Brantley a round of applause. would you like to, we can move, or if you'd like to answer, what has stood in the way? What has impeded your smile? What has not allowed you to be able to give expression to that which gives you joy?
Absolutely. First of all, thank you to both of you guys for the vulnerability. My son, he is in the YMCA. They have like a virtual support group, and he's like in the class with like 8 other kids, and he hates it. And I'm trying to affirm him right now, and like the teachers, they're doing the best they can. So let's just give her a round of applause to teachers just in general during this season. This is a difficult season to be a teacher, especially teaching like kids that are like 6, 7 years old, where like they need like that human connection, right? You know what I mean? And so, but I think what gets in the way of what makes me smile is me not being present. You know what I mean? Like whenever, like my anxiety keeps me from being able to smile. You know what I mean? Like I am obsessed with like the next thing. Like when I do something dope, I'm like, okay, cool, what's next? Like I'm never like in this moment. I'm never like, you know, thanking the ancestors, thanking God for like, okay, thank you for the blessing of right now. Like I'm always like, okay, cool, what's next? And that's not healthy at all. And that keeps me from smiling. Yeah, I'll keep it short. Yeah.
Can I say something just to connect with you? Like I'm like, and I saw what you were just saying. I saw that at one of the Black Boy art shows that I actually attended. I saw you not smiling, like, and I literally thought that you and Carlton were about to fight. I literally thought
That's what collaboration looks like, looking like you're about to fight the person that you partnered with.
I'm like, oh, they about to, and I caught a picture. I caught a picture where you're like looking at Carlton and you like straight daddy mode, like I told your ass, like, and it's no smile, but you got to smile, brother, because you're doing a great thing, and like you just affirmed me, like the work that you're doing, you're creating that space for a lot of people to present themselves that usually may have not been that may have not even been thought of. So what you're doing, you know, you have a lot of reason to smile.
As well. What has been a secret for me to down days has been living with a constant state of gratitude, being overwhelmingly thankful for seemingly infinitesimal things. So if you go to Starbucks and you ordered a tall and they gave you a venti, be almost as grateful as if they gave you $100,000, right? Because the universe doesn't know the thing that you're being thankful for. It's just doing its job by assigning things to where they belong. So if you're constantly grateful, the universe will in turn give you things to be grateful for. If you're complaining, the universe says, oh, he likes to complain. Let's give him some things to complain about. So in the moment where you acknowledge that what you did was dope, perhaps replaying it in a more thankful way will allow you to continue the joy about it, and just to turn that straight face, all right, what's next, to hold on a minute. Let me live in this for a second. Let me just take this selfie right here and appreciate this, because you deserve that for yourself. You deserve to have your eyes on what's next, but still be present enough to enjoy it and to allow other people to see you taking in the moment and receiving, you know, the flowers, you know, from other people, and also, you know, smelling them yourself.
CJ, would you like to answer? And that's not a trick question. That's not like, I want you to, so I'm asking you as a passive-aggressive human being. It is, do you genuinely want to? If not, we can move on. If you would, I absolutely would like to hear from you. Yes, he can, because I got something fire that we're going to do next, too. So.
No, I've felt some of all of that. The self-doubt is crazy. You said numbers. what you were referring to earlier where I shouted out Black Men Smile, I did this thing on Instagram called 2 Minute Tuesdays. It started as, it was an outlet for me to shout out super dope people who weren't getting a lot of recognition, and a way for me to, because I'm an actor, use all these different characters that I couldn't normally use.
Bro, just by the way, all of those characters, it's like this man can be people. Like it trips me out. I'm like, which one is CJ actually? Like, it's amazing.
Yeah, that as amazing as other people have said it is, numbers bother me. There are so many other people who have just woke up and decided I want to be an actor, and they have 1 million followers, and their videos get 3 million views. I really started counting each view, and it broke me for some reason. And I'm thinking about you and this one kid, and I was about to say something really positive. I was like, wait, I'm being a hypocrite, because I felt the same exact thing. I felt, is this valuable? Is this worth it if it's only getting one kid, if only one person is commenting? If the person I made the video about doesn't even respond, should I continue to do this?
Like, nobody even knew. I pulled her aside. I'm like, is this worth this?
Bro, but hearing your story told and seeing your face, I know it's worth it. I can't imagine what that did, not only for that kid, but for his mom. For you to show up there and not say, it wasn't 10 people, let's pack it up and we'll try it another time. They probably needed that day. There might not have been another opportunity for that to happen. So that's truly powerful, and I thank you, because that has inspired me. I'm not about to go make a video tomorrow, but just knowing that if it is only one person, that's fine. Maybe God only needed that one person to get it that day. Yeah.
CJ. Man, let me, bruh. Part of the reason you are on this, for all intents and purposes, CJ and I never met each other, bro. Like, we met one time at an event where you bought a hoodie, and then we met another time where you came to pick up some more packages because you needed them quick, and you was like, what's your address? Bro, part of why you're on this stage, out of all the people in the Black Men Smile network universe, I saw your video. I saw your 2 Minute Tuesday. I'm one person. It might have 50 views. I saw it. And it left a cumulative effect of all them 50 view videos that you posted. I was one of the people who saw them. And it left enough of an impression on me to a dude I never really know. I don't know you, bro. And I was like, I got the invitation for Fahamu to do this event. I don't want to lie. I think it's true. If it wasn't you, it was classic. But I think you were the first person I reached out to. It mattered. Y'all give it up for CJ, man. It's weird to quote yourself, but I'm about to quote myself. The best advice you can give someone are the words you need to hear yourself. So I created an exercise that I've done at a couple of Black Men Smile events. And I'd like for us to maybe, we won't even say end. I think we're definitely gonna leave some time for the audience to ask us questions and to engage and maybe to talk to them among themselves. But based on that quote and this exercise that I developed, I'd like to invite you all to do something. I'd like for you to tell yourself what you need to hear tonight. And I'd like for you to do it through the vehicle of another person being your mirror. Just for space so that we don't have to move. Classic, I'd like for you to look at CJ. And CJ is just a mirror. You're not talking to CJ. You're telling yourself what you need to hear right now in this moment. And I'd like for each of you, Brantley, if you're willing, Josh, to be a mirror for Brantley, I'd like for you to look at yourself in the mirror, which in this case just happens to mean looking directly at Josh and telling yourself what you need to hear. What do you need to say to yourself in this moment in your life, on this fragment of infinity that we happen to be standing on right now? What do you need to hear? What do you need to look at yourself and say to yourself? And Josh, if you would be willing to allow Brantley to be a mirror, I'd like for you to look at yourself in the mirror, which just so happens to look like you're looking at Brantley, and telling yourself what you need to hear in this moment. Whoever would like to speak to themselves first.
You have a family, you are a part of a family, and they are listening to you as you teach.
You have everything you need in order to be whatever you're supposed to be. And I'm sorry for everything. Sorry for the neglect. I'm sorry for the rejection. Sorry for not being there. And I'm here. And I'm not going nowhere. Woo!
You have a place in this world. The time you have dedicated to your craft has not been wasted time. You are talented. You are loved. You are very special. And God has something for you.
It's okay. It's okay to create. It's okay to be. It's okay to feel. It's okay to not have everything right now. Your love is pure. What you create is nice because it comes from you. Your family needs you. And it's okay for you to desire and to achieve and to attain and to grow and to blossom, to love, to share, to be exactly how you are. It's okay. There's room for that. Amen.
Do you mean to put the light-skinned brothers and the dark-skinned brothers together? Yeah, like, you should have mixed it up a little bit.
Did you a light skin, brother?
Concept.
How did it feel? How was that experience? How did it feel to say those things? How did it feel to hear those things? How did it feel to hear and or say those things while looking at another human being, another black man in the eyes?
I think that vulnerability starts not necessarily with like another person. I think that it starts with myself. So I really felt, I felt, for me it was powerful because I really saw myself when I was talking to you. I saw myself, and you know that's all we really are. We're really just a reflection of each other, right? And so you are a reflection of me. So for me, you know, it was me talking to my younger self, and I don't do that often. A lot of my conversation is outward, you know, to clients, to friends, to to peers. And so to like talk to yourself is like very deep and very powerful. And so for me, I've felt a release. You know what I mean? Like if I would have kept going, I would have probably started crying in this book.
I saw it.
I
saw
was
it.
like, wait a minute, hold up. I'm about to start crying. Let me pass the back right quick. And so, but no, it was powerful, and I feel like let me focus on myself. I need to create us a more consistent relationship with my younger self. You know what I mean? And so that's what that just exposed. Like I felt my younger self like, yes, finally you're talking to me. You're giving me attention. You're giving me affirmation. And so hopefully I can find more spaces where I can do that. If it's not, with myself personally in my own space. So, yep.
Having the opportunity to look myself in the mirror, and I do a lot of talking. As a teacher, I do a lot of talking. But as I was looking myself in the mirror, and it was so many words going on in my mind, being able to say a one-liner and understanding, because simplicity is brilliance, and sometimes I get so caught up with trying to sound a specific way or trying to get a specific point across, but just able to say what I needed to say to myself, and for myself to understand exactly what I was saying. And in comparison to what I said that I'm struggling with confidence and acceptance, it really feels like that was a seed that I planted within myself from just looking at you, seeing myself in you. I'm gonna be honest with you all. I look up to you all, like honestly. Just digression, and you too. And you too. CJ, I'm getting to know you too as well, brother, but I be really on the ground trolling. I'm like, man, they are achieving. That's what's up. Like, I really feel like I'm on stage with some celebrities right now, for real. But yeah, just being able to see myself in all of you all is a beautiful thing. It lets me know that you got this and you can get it.
I think it's a very powerful thing to be able to connect with someone else. But I think the magic and the secret of it was to be able to look at another brother and talk to yourself. It's a mental trip because you realize as many things as you're thinking, as many things as you're dealing with on a daily basis, so are they, right? And, you know, a lot of times, you know, my wife always, you know, gets on me for like giving people the benefit of the doubt. You know what I'm saying? Like I do it too much. Oh, man, they cut me off. Well, maybe they were on their way to the hospital because, and, you know, it seems like you're making excuses, and I know sometimes it might be, but many times it's me just thinking, man, when I'm wrong, I wish someone knew what I was thinking, because I was thinking the right shit. It just manifested wrong. And so being able to practice and exercise the idea of talking to another person and still talk to yourself creates a lot of grace. It creates a lot of connection. Carlton, our relationship as friends and brothers drastically improved and changed the moment you held me accountable. Being from New York, I see people in passing so much my entire life that it's easy for me to say, all right, bro, I'm gonna hit you later. Hit you later isn't a real time. Hit you later means I may talk to you next week. I may text you. Maybe I'll see you this weekend if we end up at the same place. But it's almost a salutation. Yeah, man, I'm gonna hit you. And I was doing that to Carlton as we had a collaboration that my presence was needed for. Did I have every intention of connecting with him? Yes, but I was executing poorly. And he said, say, bro. If you tell me you're gonna text me at 8:30 or call me at 8:30, I'm kind of a man of my word. So I'm kind of expecting you to be the same. If you're gonna be my friend, if you're gonna be my brother, if you're gonna be my partner like that, that's what I require. And I was at a crossroad. Nobody else no brother ever held me accountable like that. But it said more about what he thought of me than anything else. I took it as you valued me, but you also had to let me know what you need for me to really be your friend. And so, in essence, you were talking to yourself. You were affirming that that's what Carlton needs, but you were looking at me and saying it. In turn, it helped me reevaluate my word to everybody else around me. And now I require the same. So, the practice of talking to other people, connecting with other folks, but still talking to yourself is a powerful thing. And it also, again, creates a lot of grace, a lot of understanding, a lot of compassion, and a lot of connection, which is extremely important to us all right now.
Give it up, y'all, for yourself, for each of these people on the panel. We have 5 minutes left, official time on the conversation for those that are attending the live. We could stay back a little bit longer maybe in the space. But I'd like to open it up for questions or engagements or points that anyone would like to make to anyone in the room. The question could be to someone on the panel. The question could be of a panelist to a panelist or a panelist to the audience.
I want to start by, oh.
Can you turn that on? She can come up to the front of it.
Okay. Brothers, I want to start by saying this is powerful. And thank you for exposing your chests and your hearts for all of us. But my question is simple. What are the rituals, the mechanisms in which you reclaim yourself when you know that you're off? Something hit you. Someone in the street treated you like an animal. You're not, right? How do you reclaim your masculinity, your blackness, your power?
And if I can ask one of you to respond to that, so that we can get another person to ask a question, because if we all answer this, then our time will. So the person that is burning the most inside, I'd like for you to answer, and then we'll pass it to someone else for them.
Well, this may not be for everybody, but my wife. That's simple. Especially when, like you said, you've been treated bad in the street and this, that, the next. You come home and, you're able to be vulnerable with her and she still sees you as this beautiful being. She's not gonna push you away from you sharing your day or your weaknesses from you bearing your chest. Like a lot of men assume that, from me bearing my chest, that's a sign of weakness, but it's really a sign of strength. For me telling you about everything that went on in my day, and that also shows that I really value you as a human being, that I'm bringing this to you. But I would just say, my wife, is one thing that reaffirms and builds my masculinity.
And I want to say in your answer is a secret to the women, to the wives, to the partners who don't do that. I don't think it is a default. I don't think that because you married a person and you put a ring on their finger that they do that. And to the partners who don't listen to what this brother said, because it might be something you want to do. Another question.
I got, excuse me, I got more of a comment than anything else. All of y'all are brave men. Y'all were willing to do stuff in my day, and I'm 64. If a man talked about crying, something wrong with him. If a man talked about his feeling, something wrong with him. It's like I said today. I was brought up, my father was very stoic. He hurt my feelings a lot. But I had to eat it and keep on going. And probably with my son, because that's what I knew, that's what I did too. Move on. I ain't got time for it. I got to worry about providing food. I got to do this. But y'all, what y'all have done here tonight was something that You opened yourselves up, and you talked about your vulnerability. In my day, that was just not, you didn't talk about it. You just went on like you knew what you were doing. Each one of you got a gift. Be proud of what you got. Be brave in what you got. Because ain't nobody got it but y'all. Each individually. Ain't nobody got your gift but y'all. Last thing, y'all keep doing what you're doing. This was maybe more than anything else. It was an eye-opener to me that this could be done. It could be done. And if gatherings like this were to continue to progress, because, you know, we as men, we won't say it a lot of times, but we need that pat on the back. We need it. And y'all have expressed it, and that's why I say y'all brave men. Y'all continue to do what you're doing.
Do we have time for one more? Is that our time, brother?
You want me to come up front or I stay?
Yes.
I just want to take the time to really affirm the four of you on the stage. I see a lot of myself in you all, and I feel like the reverse is true as well. I've made eye contact with y'all while y'all been speaking. But my affirmation for you all is that not everything we come to bear are we meant to carry. For black men, our spiritual encumbrances, it's heavy. It's a lot of things we got to carry, but there are some things laid bare tonight that I think will help all of you and all of us going forward. That message really isn't just for you all, it's everybody. And like you said, Carlton, it's advice I need to take myself. So it comes from the heart when I say that. For each of you, you know, for you, the numbers are numbers, but if it's giving you joy to create, you do that. Chris, I'm a creative too. I understand the doubt, but that's your joy, that's your God energy to manifest what you see in your mind. You gotta do it. For you being present, you can do that. It's not something that's impossible. It can happen for you. And then for you, being a teacher is so important. I love teachers. I affirm teachers I went to high school with on Facebook all the time. Like, I enjoyed being in your class. It meant something to me. It's powerful even if you touch one person. So for all the things y'all laid bare tonight, I appreciate it because there are probably some things I need to lay bare as well. But once you let that go, you can move forward. You can float, basically. You can fly. You can do whatever you need to do. And that's just something I wanted to share with you all and everybody else in here as well.
To each of you in the room, to those of you who have been looking at the live stream, who aren't here physically with us, we just want to say thank you. This has been a transformative encounter. On behalf of everyone up here who makes up the Black Men Smile family, on behalf of everyone up here who represents themselves in all of their individual efforts, on behalf of Dr. Fahamu Pecou and the Space Between, an installation and a documentary film, we just thank you. As the creator of Black Men Smile, my name is Carlton Mackey. We just thank you all for being here. We thank you all for opening up yourself to the possibility of discovering fully who you are when you have the courage to open up yourself and invite yourself into a journey to become fully who you are becoming. Thank you all so much, and have a good night.
Carlton told me in a text message one day, he was like, if we're going to continue this friendship, I need to let this, and this be known. And I swear I went to the corner. I'm like, this motherfucker just like, wait a minute now. But yeah, I really appreciate that accountability, and we got to uplift other brothers with being accountable as well. So thank you, my guy. Thank you.
I'll I'll say. But I will say that it wasn't always the case. I spent a couple years in therapy, and what I realized is that I practiced some very, I exhibited very I showed up in relationships in ways that weren't healthy for myself, and what I did not do was hold. I allowed things to happen because I, in some ways, didn't appreciate or value fully who I was. I created codependent relationships, and I had worth and value issues galore. And when I began to acknowledge and accept and appreciate that I could set boundaries and that that was an act of self-love, and that I could act as radically to stand on my own commitments and demand others to do the same. It started with me living into my own, though, because I was on some bullshit. Like, I would not do the things. I was hypocritical. So I'm not passing judgment on as much as I'm saying I didn't hold up my end of the bargain. But and that had to do with worth and value issues, all kinds of stuff too, and how I created imbalanced relationships. But once I turned that page, oh, it's a wrap. You're not going to share intimate space with me and not hold and honor my boundaries. It's just not gonna happen. And I am not going to not honor the commitments that I make to you. We both do that. You are allowed to hold me as accountable. As you know, we had a conversation today, and you looked at me and was like, "Man, you got on me about not responding to you in a way that that you felt honored who you were." And but what has made me commit to doing what I've done? And Josh and I got stories too, but I do it because I love myself, man. Like, I love myself more than I ever have in my life. And I had to sit on a couch and talk to a person who showed me that Carlton Mackey, this dude who, like, thought he was the shit. I thought I was Fahamu. And I realized how a lot of all of that, I was pumping my chest was because, man, I was weak as hell. I was insecure, and I was hiding behind my success. I was hiding behind some things I just have natural abilities to do, but I wasn't loving myself worth a damn. And I was afraid of rejection. And so I would let people do exhibit all kind of the stuff that I don't let y'all do. For a long time. And y'all happened to come along when I was like, shitting me? And this is what it looks like. And now I can have some solid, real relationships. How do you feel about black people in therapy? You know, a lot of people, like, especially us, we ain't gonna go to no therapy. So how do you feel about the black community in therapy? Best thing I ever did. Changed my life. It was the therapist who was excellent, but it was me going in saying, I had this television view of what therapy was like. It's a long couch and you're sitting there, you're talking. But it was part of that, but here's what made it different for me and what the secret of my success in therapy was. It was I went in and said, I am for the first time in my life going to tell myself and this woman, I have a black woman therapist, I'm going to tell her and myself the truth about everything. I don't care how ridiculous I sound. I don't care how weak I sound. I don't care how embarrassing it is. I don't care how, what's the word? The implications that it has on myself, implicating it is, incriminating it is. I am going to experience what it sounds. I'm going to hear what it sounds like to tell I am a professional liar, definitely to myself. Like, I could tell myself stuff that is basically what I think I need to hear or what. This is my secret in therapy was saying, everything that comes out of my mouth is going to be the truth. Changed my life. Now I can look at all the stuff like my fears that I would never let anyone in. I took the bait. I basically was like, this is a safe space. She's legally bound to not share certain things, and the rooms are closed, so I'm going to just say, everything. I told myself the truth about everything that I have never allowed myself to say out loud, and it was the most liberating, and I do it every time I go in there. Every time, the exact truth. And I was like, look, can I say exactly how, I'm talking about all the words, bro. Like, all the words, even if it's about myself, even if it's about something I did. This is the truth. And I'm able to look at that. I'm able to look at, and that's how I was able to discover the things. I was like, oh my God. And here's the things that I hated the most in other people, stuff that like, annoyed me. The more I told the truth, I was like, yikes. I was all those things, bro. Like, all those things. But what was so powerful was like, I'm able to see that now. I had a lot invested in lying to myself and saying that those things were. I had a lot invested in lying and not telling my truth about dirt I did, stuff that I didn't. I was able to see him, and I was able to release myself from the guilt of them. I was able to ask for forgiveness of myself for things. I was able to go to people, because I was like, once I told the truth, I realized how much, because I have an invested interest in protecting myself, particularly if I hurt someone else. I have invested in protecting my story, my side of the story. When I told the truth, I was able to see how it might have hurt someone else. So, man, you don't know how many people I had to call and apologize for stuff that, because when I told it the way it sure enough is, like my brother said, I told it like an IS is. When I said it like an IS is, it was a wrap. It was a wrap. That's what therapy did for me. So I think it's great and can work for everyone. I would just say, whether you have a good therapist or a bad therapist, it's what you go in there and do. He or she could do or say nothing. Do this. Tell yourself that you're committed to telling the truth and being courageous enough to sit and hear what the brutal, honest truth is about everything. You'll realize how many lies you told, and you'll realize how free you are when you actually tell yourself the truth about some shit that you've been lying about for your whole life.